Hi, my name is Ahaji Kamara and this is my new YouTube channel, Kamara Go. It's a new project for me, so please be patient with me. I'm kind of learning how to do this on the fly. But here you should be able to find from me lots of great information about moving to another country. I decided to leave England. I'm originally from London 3 years ago, and it has been a roller coaster of a ride. I've had to learn everything from banking, legal stuff, visa problems, actually learning a new language, how to navigate cultural things, food, relationships, dating, Zoom, and in the middle of a pandemic, how to kind of navigate that whole experience. So there'll be lots of great, useful information for you to pick up. So I'm hoping you will subscribe down there, hit that subscribe button. And for today's particular episode, I met up with my friend Ace, who is also a very famous YouTube blogger. He's called Ace Live. You can find links to him underneath this video right here and a lot of other useful information. And if you have any questions, feel free to send your questions over to me. I'm happy to answer. And also, not just if you have any questions, if you have any tips, because my channel isn't just for me to give you information. It's also for me to share. Maybe you guys have had some of the same experiences I've had and you can give me some information. So it's a sharing and a loving, it's all good. So today's episode is basically the meeting I had with Ace for us to talk about what it's like moving to another country and also the logistics of buying a house in another country, the process, the prices, the drama, the highs, the low, everything else that goes along with it. So stay tuned, you're gonna get the best information you need. Do not lose this information. It is critical that you watch this. And at the end, remember, hit that subscribe button if you want more. There'll be lots more content coming up very soon. Thank you.
Sharing your story, which will help other people not go through that.
Yeah.
So, but I have to ask you this one question because I know this question is gonna, and you don't have to be too particular, but give us a ballpark on like what someone can expect. We obviously didn't see your beautiful house. It's dark right now and everything.
I can give you some footage tomorrow or something.
No, we'll see it later on your channel. But could you give us an idea of what we can purchase for around $100,000?
Well, I mean, I don't mind you going through that, but I can tell you most of the apartments I looked at were between the kind of 85,000 and 120,000 pounds price mark. So I guess that's like between the kind of $100,000 to $150,000 mark. All of them were kind of Estrata 5 to 6, which is like the equivalent of, I guess, living in Manhattan in New York in a really nice apartment. And the apartments generally come with security, cinema in the building. Yes, cinema, swimming pool in the building, tennis court, barbecue, roof vista views of the whole city, and you can see the river and the lake and everything else. Probably 3-bed. 4-bed, because you normally get a room which is supposedly the servant's room, so they don't consider another room, but effectively it's a 4-bed, big salon, beautiful floor to ceiling windows that you'll get a nice vista, 3 or 4 showers, en suites, large kitchen spaces, and those will be in really nice parts of the cities, and that's the kind of price range you'll get for modern apartments. Again, if you go for something that is a little bit more, it depends on your style. If you go for something that's a little bit more cool, you get that kind of like, I don't know, costeño, I don't know how you call them, like old mansions, colonial mansions that are all in Prado, here in that area, in a region called Prado.
So you don't have to stay in like a condo, you could stay in a...
Yeah, I mean, and again, for something like that, you're going to get something 2-3 bed. A house is a little older, but the style is incredible. You can really put a lot more kind of culture into it. If you're into that kind of developing homes and style, and really building something beautiful that you're then going to use for Airbnb or for visitors to come in, or even if you're just trying to buy property as an equity anchor to buy bigger things, like me, I guess. You know, for that kind of $100,000 to $120, $150,000, you're in a great place to do that. If you are coming out thinking, actually, I just want to live and relocate, and I want to live in a nice area that's comfortable and have a nice, comfortable house, you can still more than achieve that with like $60,000, $70,000. You'll be amazed with what you can find for that price. And then it's just about the location, where it is, where you need to.
Around
to
60 grand.
Yeah.
Dollars. Okay.
Yeah. It just depends what barrio you live in. And you know, where I saw some places that were like $70,000 that were palaces, 4 bedrooms, you know, duplex, 2 floors, beautiful, but just that particular area is in what they call closer to central, closer to the middle. So it's not the kind of posh area where all the politicians live and da-da-da.
But it's a good quality home.
It's a quality area. I mean, and I have to be honest, for me, I love where I live now, but in hindsight, there was an area called Ciudad Jardín, which is Estrata 4, and it was just like me living in London, in Tottenham, in the area that I'm from in London. You know, you have a mix of people with money, mix of people who don't. Some of the people are a little bit rough, some of the people are just really cool and trendy and creative. So it kind of had a bit more of that mix, whereas where I am now is a little bit more like everyone is, let's speak properly. Let's not be good morning, buenos dias. And I'm a bit like, yo, what go on, blood? You good? And they're looking at me like, who's this guy? I mean, so it's a little, culturally it's a little dead around here still, but it's safe, and in terms of as an investment for me, as an equity anchor, so I can buy this, hold it for a few years, maybe flip it into some other things, it was perfect for my usage. But if you're trying to buy a home, as I said before, come rent a few places, live in a few different cities, check out, you know, if every city has its plus and minus, you know. For me, if it wasn't Barranquilla, it would have been Cali, because Cali is the salsa capital, supposedly, of the world, and I love that. But it just was nowhere near any beaches. You got to like travel for 3 hours to get to the beach. I was like, I didn't leave London to not see the sea. I need to be.
And you actually have a view of the river and the sea.
Can't see it right now, but literally the sea is just there and the river is just there. You can see where they meet.
You don't even have you don't have it running. You have AC, but that fresh air coming in is like, wow. Okay.
You know, even that is an interesting point, because when Lily's or Josephina, the woman I was telling you helped me to buy the place, she said avoid the temptation to buy all of these luxury apartments that look amazing here, because most of them, the build quality is really bad, which we know is generally the case with any new builds all over the world, but also they're not designed very well. So the other thing she said is a lot of them are not designed for the heat, and she said what happens is a lot of gringos come here and they get blown away with these big glass windows at the front of the apartment and the view, and don't realize that's the side the light comes in, that's the side the sun comes in. So basically your house is a greenhouse all day, which then means you have to run your air conditioning 24 hours a day, which then brings your utility bills up like 60-70% more than it would normally be. Where she was like, the houses that were built here maybe sort of 8 to 10 years ago had been designed with that in mind. So they always design to have a through breeze through, or they design so the house is on a side that you get sun, but it's not the direct sun. So again, you know, I bought my house with her advice, and as you can see, being in here, I don't really need to turn on my air conditioning very often, because you know the place has been thought out for that. Whereas some of the apartments I was looking at, even you go to visit the apartment, within 2 minutes of being in the apartment, I'm like, open the windows quick, somebody do something.
So we pretty much got a lot of answers, questions answered. One thing I want to ask you is, got somebody watching this, approaching a retirement right now, has a home, is thinking about moving here. What words of encouragement or advice you can give that person that's watching this video right now?
Yeah, I can only speak for me. I got to a point where I was like, look, you know, I've got a good job, I have a good life, but could I project what that good standard of living will be like 10 to 15 years ahead and really be 100% certain it was going to be where I wanted it to be? or that I wouldn't have to continually keep upping my game. Yeah, got to keep going, got to make it work. And in 10 years time I'll have this and I'll be able to do that. It was like, yeah, well, in 10 years time I'm going to be at an age where I might not have the energy to even want to do all of that kind of stuff. So sometimes it is just saying, if you're thinking about that process, start taking the steps now. It doesn't mean that you have to do it now, but you have to think of it this way. Like, I've been here 3 years. I've only just at the end of that 3 years got to a point where I'm like, I kind of know what I'm doing here a little bit more. I'm not at the destination I want to be here yet in terms, visa problems and this, that, and everything else, or even just knowing exactly what the income is going to be. I'm nice, but you never know what happens with that. But it takes about 5 years to kind of really get that situation sorted and stable. You don't want to be like, okay, I'm ready for retirement now at 60, and be like, okay, now I'm going to give that extra 5 years to try and figure that out when you're already there. So for me, it's about taking short trips, starting to go and visit other countries, starting to explore and do some research on what that process is to live in those other countries. Follow people like Ace, or come and check out my channel, or other people who are doing things like that and YouTubing and trying to live in different places, so you can get a feel and get some information on what it's about, so that when you are ready to make that move, you're not making it from a standing start. You are kind of in the moment already, you're moving along with it, and it's just about steering the direction of travel rather than kind of going, right, well, I have no idea where to even start this from. Because very often that becomes the bar to entry, that becomes the thing that actually stops people making that step to go, right, I'm going to try and live in another country, because it just seems like such an insurmountable task with all these unknowns. So break it up, take it in steps, do your research. It's definitely worth doing. In the current communication age we live in now, there's not really much difference. I, in some senses, speak to more of my family via Zoom or via my phone or whatever else now than I actually did when I lived around the corner from them. That's real talk. Like, we talk every day, every week, and whatever else. So, and it's not complicated for me to travel from here. Again, was one of the other factors of me choosing Barranquilla. It has an airport. I can get to that airport in 20 minutes. It's very easy for me to get to the airport, and that it's an international airport that pretty much goes to every country in the world. So it's very easy if there's an emergency for me to get to see my people or jump on a plane and whatever else. And the prices aren't crazy. So that is basically what I would say. Don't do it from a standing start. Start the process. Do some research. Look for people like me and Ace. Follow some other people. Look on Instagram. Look on YouTube. See who's doing what. Have a think about the kind of lifestyle you actually want, and then work back from there. Even if you're saying, okay, well, I want to have a millionaire's lifestyle and a yacht on a boat or whatever your thing is, it's that honest point of saying, well, what do I have in my life right now that might enable me to do that? And maybe flipping it, maybe you currently have a house where you live in America or wherever part of the world you're in. Maybe selling that house or leveraging some equity might enable you to buy a house or get you on the property market in the country you've decided to live on, and that might be a way for you to start making some money. Or you might be able to use some of that money to invest in something when you get here. It's starting the process to think about that and exploring what those ideas are before you make the decision to kind of be like, right, I'm going to come buy a house. I read, just to finish up on that, I read an interesting article a few months ago, and they said that 80% of expats leave within the first year. Something like 62% of them leave in the first 5 years. And the main reason is because they came out here for a dream and didn't really have the foundation to support the dream. And that foundation isn't even always financial. Sometimes it is like, okay, well, if you're not somebody who has the kind of openness to meet new people, talk to new people, or even as much as saying hello to your neighbors, in the morning, if you find it very difficult to meet new people, it will be more challenging for you to kind of do that, because you need a community to move in and around those first few years to really help support you with what you're doing. I know I could not have done any of this without the help of some of my friends, that are here, who have helped me to arrange certain things, meet new people, going to expat meetups, joining expat groups on Facebook and so on and so forth, and just starting that process of having conversations with people. so that when I got here, there were already people I could talk to, and situation. I need to go to the doctor. I'm not feeling too well. I don't speak the language. Who can I do that with? Who can help me do that? I came here. I didn't speak a word of Spanish. Crazy, I know. No word of Spanish. I still don't particularly speak much Spanish, but enough to get by. So that's my advice. Follow Ace on his channel. Follow my new channel, Kamara Go, and I hope to see you out here real soon, living your best life. That's what I can say, man. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. We could have literally been talking about that for hours, and after we recorded that video, we literally did. So we're trying to make this into concise sections that are going to be informational, but also reasonably entertaining to keep your attention. So that being said, make sure you stay tuned to the next video, which we're actually going to cover the properties that I went to see before buying this one. So I'm going to try and pick out some of the properties that were like at the top of the scale, some that were in the middle, and then some that were kind of lower scale. Just to give you an example of what you can kind of buy for your money. Some of these apartments had cinemas and rooftop barbecues, swimming pool areas, as well as tennis courts. So really, really great information. Very important that you click that subscribe button down there. Very, very important. And also important that you follow my boy Ace Live. His link is underneath us. He's been exploring Colombia for the last 6 weeks and just exploring the world. So a very cool person to follow. Very useful for you to subscribe to this channel. Follow me. Be gentle. It's my first video on this channel. I'm hoping you're going to stay with me and looking forward to seeing you soon. And also, just to be clear, this is a two-way channel. I am just as keen to learn about your experiences and any information you can give to me as much as I can give to you. I don't know everything. I've been doing this for 3 years and I'm learning. So please feel free to share. Stay in contact, hit me up, talk to me, let me know how you're feeling and what's going on. Good to see you guys. Bye.